All right, Tony, let's get into it. I do want to touch on all the fallout from Dillian Whyte versus Otto Wallin being cancelled. Otto Wallin's team have said a lot. Dillian Whyte said a lot. But before we get into that, there was a big fight in America over the weekend as well. I know that our brothers Ak and Barack have already spoke about it, but I want to speak more, if you can, about Shakur Stevenson and the brilliance of Shakur Stevenson. Obviously, now the WBO super featherweight champion, two-weight world champion already, put on a clinic, I thought, against Jamel Herring. And look, we saw Jamel Herring a few months back beat Carl Frampton convincingly. So that almost gives a bit more to the win for me for Shakur Stevenson. He could be the future of boxing, Tony.
I've been saying this for a while now, Addy, that I think this kid's the one. I think he's the next big pound-for-pound king once Canelo passes the torch. I think he's exceptional. There's nothing that Shakur Stevenson can't do. Offense and defense are pretty equal. He can punch a fair bit too. The Herring win is very impressive, but I'm not going to lie, it's nothing that I didn't see coming or didn't expect. You know, if this boy is what we expect him to be, then he done what we all expected against Jamel Herring. So I'm really excited. Super, super talented boy. One thing I like about him the most is he's got an old head on young shoulders. You know, he fights like an old school fighter. He's super talented, quick, skillful, but he's also very aware of what's coming back. And that's something that old school fighters and older, more experienced fighters tend to have. But he's got that at such a young age, and that's what impresses me the most about him.
Agreed. I mean, if you're an American fight fan right now, it must be so exciting. Obviously, you've got him, you've got the four kings, Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez. And the best thing as well is they're all 26 or under. They're all kids still. Wow. And hopefully in the next couple of years, we can get to see them match up, whether it be at lightweight, whether it be 140 pounds, maybe even 147, because they're all pretty big. It's an exciting time for young sort of fight fans in America.
It is, and let's not forget that name, Vasyl Lomachenko, put in there amongst them as well. So, you know, these guys can be matched to and from, back and forth with each other. And then also, as I say, there'll be other names that come through, but as soon as you mention a name like Vasyl Lomachenko amongst them four lions, it's huge, it really is. But American boxing is getting back to where it used to be, where it used to dominate for years and years and years. They've been missing, I feel, for quite a number of years now, where having had a big standout name that dominates. I mean, if I think off the top of my head, I would say Errol Spencer's probably been the best standout American over the last while, and Terence Crawford. But outside of them, there used to be one in every division, Addy. And now I think boxing's been starved from the American audience perspective, and it's coming back now. As I say, you know, Devin Haney is an unbelievable talent. Teofimo Lopez, I mean, he's the guy who beat the guy. And then, you know, you've got Shakur Stevenson to throw that name in now. And after that impressive destruction of Herring, you know, he's only going to go from strength to strength.
Agreed. Let's hope we can get Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez. That's the name he wants next. That would be a unification fight in that division. So let's hope we can do that. All right, let's talk about Dillian Whyte, Otto Wallin. Obviously, we spoke about it on the back end of the show last week, that fight being off. Now, though, there's been so much fallout from it. Otto Wallin's manager, Dimitri Salita, has come out and said, look, I want to see proof of the shoulder injury. Dillian Whyte's come out and said, look, why would I duck Otto Wallin? Like, I'm not scared of him. What do you make of it all? If you're Dillian Whyte, I can understand why Dillian Whyte, look, if you are feeling the shoulder and the doctor says don't fight, you don't roll the dice when, you know, that could be that carrot of Tyson Fury sort of dangled in front of him. If I'm Dillian Whyte, I'd do exactly what Dillian Whyte's done.
I think the one thing you've got to take into consideration is that Dillian Whyte doesn't duck anybody. Dillian Whyte fights anyone, anywhere, anytime. So that's the one thing you can say about Dillian Whyte. He's never ducked anyone, never ducked a challenge. This is a guy who went in against Alexander Povetkin when he basically had a world title fight. This is a guy who fought former world champion Joseph Parker when he didn't have to. A guy who's been back and forth wars with everybody and who's anybody. Who's just been now a current bridgerweight world champion, and Rivas, you know, he's defeated him. So Dillian faces and beats anyone. He's not scared or afraid of anyone. Otto Wallin has had this opportunity at Tyson Fury already. So I was quite surprised when they labelled this like some kind of final eliminator. I don't know how many more final eliminators Dillian Whyte has to win before it really is a final eliminator, because he feels like he's had about 26 final eliminators and he still ain't had a title shot. So just give the boy his due, give him his shot. If he's got an injury, I'm not going to even go on about the injury, because he's been that active and he always fights dangerous opponents that I don't even think you can question the boy on an injury Addy, I just don't believe you could possibly could, because he's fought so many good fights back to back to back. And, you know, an injury is always going to come in boxing. I just think he's very fortunate that he's got this injury now, and he wasn't preparing for Tyson Fury, and that's when he got the injury. So I think he should thank his lucky stars, in my opinion.
Agreed. I mean, the good thing about this, well, a couple of good things about this. I think the biggest one, though, is that Tyson Fury's promoter, Bob Arum, has said, look, Tyson Fury's likely to fight the next fight in the UK. So if it is a Dillian Whyte fight, then I think fight fans in the UK have something exciting to look forward to in the summer. I mean, they could easily sell at Old Trafford. I honestly believe Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte, I mean, you know both men well. Dillian Whyte will sell the fight. Tyson Fury doesn't need to. It's a mega fight. What I hope happens, though, with Otto Wallin, Tony, is, look, hopefully his camp's taken care of financially, right? You know, camps cost a lot of money, sparring costs a lot of money. And I hope he's given an opportunity to maybe fight on the undercard of a big fight, or give him a name. Eddie Hearn's got other heavyweights. Give him someone to fight. I think he deserves that at least.
I agree with you, Addy. You know, there's nothing worse than a fight being called off at so late in the day. And, you know, the guy's lost out on a camp expenses. All these things have got to be drafted into plan. But Eddie Hearn is a good person, you know, and he's one of very few, if any, left in boxing. He's an honest man, and he deals, you know, with things in an honest way. So I would expect Eddie will offer him an opportunity, a slot somewhere else. I'm surprised he's not actually still staying on the bill. I've seen Johnny Fisher's social media tweet to him, offered him an 8-round fight, which would be insane of Otto Wallin to take. And also, I thought it was crazy of the Romford Bull to even offer. But stranger things have happened. But he had an opportunity there, Otto Wallin, to take the fight on. And I'm sure that the smart people got round the Romford Bull also and told him, you know, listen, son, you know, walk before you can run. You know, take it easy. There's no need to rush. But, you know, as I said before, and I'll say again, this injury concern for Dillian Whyte cannot be questioned, because this boy has fought everyone and anyone. He really has, and he's turned up time and time again and performed on the big stage. So I just look forward to what's going to happen in the future for him. Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury is a sellout fight. It's huge. It's massive. Believe you me, the minute these guys come up and meet face to face for the first time, the first press conference, and the banter starts going back and forth, every seat will sell out no matter where it is. And that's got to be in the UK, because if this goes to Vegas, Addy, it's not a good thing. We don't need these fights going there. Tyson Fury needs to build his fan base here as well. You know, no one's going to be going to Vegas to watch two Brits fight. You know, well, not the vast majority anyway. So we want to get it over here. Old Trafford's a great shout. Even give the Millennium Stadium a shout, or the Principality Stadium in Cardiff, whatever you want to call it. There's so many different options. I mean, we've seen what Anthony Joshua created at Tottenham Hotspur's new ground. That was just unbelievable. So there's many options, and listen, with Matchroom or someone like that putting a bill together, they really know how to sell an event, and you know, it's something I would love to see.
Yeah, we wait for Mauricio Suleiman, WBC president, to make the decision. But you're right. Look, that and Old Trafford will be crazy. We know Tyson Fury is a Manchester United fan, but the idea of seeing Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte, Dean Whyte, Shane Fury all going at each other, and they all will go at each other, will be ridiculous.